Eye Opener for May 11th, 2026. Uninhabitable habitat. While I have defined or presented the rationale for my optimistic pessimism or pessimistic optimism in the past, I will do so once again, because I think repetition is required for this message to get out to the masses. In short, I am optimistic that mankind could make life better on Earth for all. Through various technologies, empathetic treatment of one another, sharing of resources, and an overall concern for the well-being of each other. For these and many more reasons, humanity could make Earth a paradise. The pessimistic side of me, however, says the utopia I envision is unlikely due to the fact that humanity seems to lack the will to make life better on planet Earth. Whether due to race, ethnicity, culture, or one of the myriad of other distractions that the elite or ultra-wealthy use to create and promote propaganda and chaos, far too many of the masses allow themselves to be lulled into a false sense of security. A sense of security that allows the middle class to ignore the poor, the upper middle class to ignore the middle class, the upper class to ignore the upper middle class, and the top earners on the globe to ignore the plight of everyone else. Something that is undeniable, given that the trend around the planet seems to be to increase the suffering of more and more people. Something that was not true necessarily decades ago. Now, as for the title of today's post, Uninhabitable Habitat. I am referring to the ways in which artificial intelligence, or more accurately, mankind striving towards artificial intelligence, or even more precisely, the desire for a very small group of individuals who will control artificial intelligence to propagate throughout society. And when I say control, I'm referring to the perceived control that those who create the various artificial intelligences believe they will have over artificial intelligence. For if the goal is to create an entity, an artificial intelligence, that can think like a man or woman, what guardrails could be placed on such a being when said being would be able to think and process information thousands of times faster than any other human on Earth, while having access to every bit of information that is available to humanity on the internet? That is why I say the first artificial intelligence, or artificial general intelligence, that mankind creates will be the last artificial intelligence that mankind creates. This, I believe, because the first artificial intelligence created by an artificial general intelligence will be something that humanity could not have even conceived of. But let me get to the point. Currently, there are data centers being proposed around the globe, but mostly around the United States. The data centers that have already been erected require as much water and energy as the populations in which those data centers have been built. Imagine you opening a business that requires as much water and energy as every person in your neighborhood or city or state. Imagine this data center using fresh water to cool its equipment down. How long before there are so many data centers around the country that fresh water becomes a scarce resource for the population? If you doubt that this could become a problem, just look at what happened during the fires in Hawaii, where it was determined that the water that could have helped fight those fires had been diverted for years to the properties held and owned by the elite. The same could be said about the fires in California, where the reservoirs that were supposed to hold enough water to fight the fires there were left empty because relatively minor repairs were not paid for. And then there is the noise generated by these data centers. Just look it up on YouTube to discover how loud and constant the noise pollution is coming from the data center that have already been erected. And then look at those places where residents have protested the development of such data centers, only to have their elected leaders ignore the will of the people and allow for the development and construction of those data centers. Such behavior could only be possible in a corrupt system. Such behavior is consistent with the wars we see today that are pushing mankind towards another depression economically and further starvation globally. How is it that so many people are willing to accept the fate that their leaders are funneling them towards on a daily basis? How is it that so many people don't see what looks to me to be the obvious dead-end outcome given the things that our leaders are pushing for? Why in the hell would the Pentagon want to give artificial intelligence unrestricted access and control over military weaponry when the company that created said artificial intelligence doesn't even think that is a good idea? Anyway, maybe I'm just being hyperbolic. Maybe all of the things I've mentioned above, As negative as the outcomes have been thus far, they will somehow turn out okay. Maybe the ultra-wealthy, the tech lords who control artificial intelligence, maybe in the end, they will reveal themselves as benevolent. After all, they do seem to want to pay their fair share in taxes. Never mind. But they do seem to care about the rest of us. Never mind.
For solutions to the biggest issues we all face today, pick up your copy of Chris Osman's book, Solutions. Enough complaining, let's fix America, at Amazon.com. And for more videos like this and those that ask the questions that need to be asked, search for Surreal News on Rumble.com or check out the YouTube channel by Chris Osman. Just search CHRIS space OSSMAN with the term Daily Eye Openers and find out why there are more and more conspiracies and fewer conspiracy theories in the world today. And while you're there, please like the videos and subscribe to the YouTube channel so Chris can continue posting these truths.